Welcome back to another episode of Grim Captivation! Hooray! Hooray, hooray. And also the spooks, the spookies. Thank you guys again, once and again for all of the support that you guys are giving to us. It's really, really fun to do all these episodes. For me, I really like researching all these paranormal stuff. And like today is obviously a little darker than the last episode because we are actually going to be covering the 9 Princes of Hell. There are a lot of things I was debating because there's things of 7 Princes of Hell and then there's 9 Princes of Hell. There's debates whether you want to think that there are 7 or not or 9. 7 I would probably guess because it is more like biblical, I suppose, and I think the neighbor just started up his music, so that's going to be fun to listen to. Hopefully I don't catch that. Nope, we're good. For now. So I guess we'll just do the episode and with background music. So yeah, today's going to be all about, the 9 Princes of Hell. I decided to do 9 princes because it's more to talk about, because the whole thing of, angels and demons are interesting thing to talk about. So, we cannot defeat the demons of this world without first acknowledging the demons within ourselves. So this is a really good quote from the book The Demonologist. I personally think that, demonic forces are always out to get us. Sent from Satan to sway us to the darker path, which is easier to pretty much tread on and quickly to succumb to pretty much all the wrongs of the world, things like that. But how many demons are really out there to snare us in this way? So from what I remember, when Lucifer pretty much fell from heaven, he actually took a third of the angels of heaven with him, who were pretty much swayed under his charismatic lure. And with that being said, I'd say the numbers of demons like now, like today, are like countless, probably. It's so many. But some scholars have, obviously guessed at how many, but this episode isn't really about the super specific details. For this one, I'll be covering some interesting, just some interesting demons. And obviously I would say interesting because it's like, again, it's up to you to believe if this is real. And I say if you do believe, on one side, whether it's demons or angels, there's a good chance the other exists too. The whole thing of, if you exist that, or if you believe that demons exist, then angels should exist too. The whole opposition of good and evil. So as we go into some depth of the names of the demons, there's actually something called the Lesser Key of Solomon. Pretty much this like really ancient book. And there's a certain symbol that depicts 72 demons. And these are like symbols and writings pretty much. And this symbol is known as the Ars Goetia. The Latin term Goetia, or Goetia, however you pronounce it, refers to the evocation of demons or evil spirits. And so within this Ars Goetia can be noted the 9 Princes of Hell, who govern over all the other demons. And in short, these 9 Princes of Hell include Baal, or sometimes known as Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Leviathan, Azazel, Astaroth, Mammon, Belphegor, Belial, and Lucifer. The story of Solomon, the whole thing of the Key of Solomon, or the Testament of Solomon, tells of how he was presented with a ring which had the symbol of God on it. Through this ring, Solomon was able to summon powerful demons, realize their purposes, and also supposedly made them build the temple in Jerusalem. So when he was done talking with them, he sealed them back into hell with the same ring. But for this one, I won't be going into the 72 demons, because that would take forever. But instead, obviously, talking about the 9 princes. So, the first one is Beelzebub, or Baal. This demon goes back into the Old Testament of the Bible with Solomon, who apparently had summoned, all these demons to know why they torment and twist people to evil ways. In this Testament of Solomon, it says, "Then I summoned Beelzebul to appear before me again, When he was seated, I thought it appropriate to ask him, "Why are you alone, prince of the demons?" He replied, "Because I am the only one left of the heavenly angels who fell. I was the highest-ranking angel in heaven, the one called Beelzebul. There has also accompanied me another ungodly angel whom God cut off and now imprisoned me here. He holds in his power the race of these bound by me in Tartarus. He is being nurtured in the Red Sea. When he is ready, he will come to triumph." And I said to him, "What are your activities?" He replied, "I bring destruction by means of tyrants. I cause the demons to be worshipped alongside men, and I arouse desire in holy men and select priests. I bring about jealousies and murders in a country, and I instigate wars." So Beelzebub is a terrible demon, and I would say he's he's like there's another one further down the list, but like Beelzebub's very much like he's all for the destruction of mankind and kind of like the deception of mankind, also in a way where he leads people to worship demons rather than God and faith and Jesus and things like that. I feel like that's kind of his main thing for him. The second prince of hell on the list is Asmodeus, which is actually a very well-known name, where it even crosses into Dungeons and Dragons as a terrible fiend to cross with. So he's pretty bad even in D&D. But yeah, so Asmodeus is another demon that Solomon contacted. Among the demons that Solomon summoned and interrogated was Asmodeus, who appeared as a fearsome creature with 3 heads, one like a bull, a man, and one like a ram. He also had a serpent's tail, webbed feet, and flaming breath. He rode on a dragon and carried a lance and a banner. It's like a wild-looking demon. He's just, I don't know.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, I don't even know. Another figure of Asmodeus comes from another source called the Dictionnaire Infernal by Colin de Plancy. And if you guys are obviously here for, like you've, researched demonology and all that stuff, you guys will know the Dictionnaire Infernal, because that's a really big thing where he pretty much lists off a bunch of demons and paranormal stuff. So, but in this book, Asmodeus is seen more as a magical demon of treachery. It says here, he said that he was possibly the same as Samael, the angel of death in Jewish lore. He said that he was employed by Solomon in building the temple, but then tried to dethrone him by his magic. He also said that he was the serpent who seduced Eve in the Garden of Eden, and that he was the father of Cain, the first murderer. All in all, Asmodeus is a very fierce demon that deals with treachery. So the whole thing, I guess, with Asmodeus is that he's a very scary-looking demon, and he pretty much tries to overthrow people and obviously deceive people, but like he tries to get, more over him, pretty much. Third on the list is Leviathan, another, I guess, commonly well-known name for some. Kind of depends, especially when it comes to the sea and the abyss, pretty much. Leviathan, from its origins in the Book of Enoch, was apparently tied with Behemoth, another demon of popular mention. In this Book of Enoch, it says, "And that day 2 monsters will be parted. One monster, a female named Leviathan, in order to dwell in the abyss of the ocean over the fountains of water, and the other a male called Behemoth, which holds his chest in an invisible desert, whose name is Dundayan, east of the Garden of Eden." Leviathan can also be named the dragon of the sea when it comes from the book of Isaiah. And there it says, "In that day the Lord will punish with his great, cruel, mighty sword Leviathan, the elusive serpent, Leviathan the twisting serpent. He will slay the dragon of the sea." So from what I can kind of tell is that Leviathan is like the huge, mighty sea serpent that a lot of folk or mythical tales might have got inspiration from. But this whole thing of Leviathan is also destruction, but just like the whole thing of like being hidden as well. Kind of like that hidden destruction. And it is terrifying to really think about, especially if you're like out in the sea and like you start remembering like Oh yeah, there's like ancient tales of this Leviathan, like dragon of the sea, demon of the sea. That's pretty scary. So, fourth on the list is Azazel. This demon is the chief of the Seirim, the goat demons. In the source from the book of Enoch, Azazel is the one who taught heavenly secrets to humankind, which ultimately led humans to sin. These sort of teachings included the making of weapons to the wearing of cosmetics.
Wow.
Yeah, which made the women seduce angels. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah. The angels charged Azazel for revealing heavenly secrets, and it was the archangel Raphael who punished him by binding his hands and feet before casting him into darkness with sharp and jagged rocks. There he would remain until Judgment Day, when Azazel would then be hurled into the lake of fire. So, I just thought it was really random, where it's just like, okay, yeah, like, he made weapons, that's terrible, that's violence. He also showed them cosmetics!
Oh,
no!
The end of the world is near.
I just thought it was kind of funny, but it's like sure, like maybe if he like taught the women to seduce the angels, you know, like the fallen angels, and obviously that's the whole thing of like, you know, lust and things like that. Like, okay, sure, that makes a little more sense, but like cosmetics.
They're like, oh no, cosmetics.
Cosmetics.
It's evil.
It's evil. It was just ridiculous. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Fifth on the list is Astaroth. Astaroth appears as an ugly angel riding a dragon and holding a viper in his left hand. Yeah. It is thought that this powerful Grand Duke presides over 40 legions of demons, and possibly over the East. Just randomly over the East.
Yeah.
And he is the treasurer of hell. The Sidonians and Philistines of like Old Testament stuff worshipped him in the past. It's also mentioned that he knows of past and future events, secret things, liberal arts, and the story of creation and the fall of the angels. He also believes he received an unjust punishment. Some magicians, or like old scholars, way past, some of them say that he produces the goodwill of great lords and can be summoned on Wednesday. So
not Monday, not Tuesday.
On Wednesday. He can be summoned on Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, my dude.
He is said to emit a powerful, a terrible odor, and to endure it, the magician shall hold a silver magical ring that prevents odors under his nose. So he is a very odd demon.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he's just more random than anything.
Yeah.
Like, he's a smelly, ugly demon.
Yeah. Who rides a dragon.
Who rides a dragon and holds a viper, and he can only be summoned on Wednesday. Like, okay. But apparently he presides over like 40 different legions of demons, which is crazy, I guess, but maybe it's just, I don't know. I came across Astaroth. I'm like, this doesn't sound like a prince of hell. It just sounds like some ugly demon, ugly smelly demon. So I don't know. It was just weird.
Interesting one.
Sixth on the list is Mammon. This demon, from what I kind of read through, represents greed and thievery. Mammon is also mentioned briefly in Paradise Lost, a book which kind of tells almost like the creation of heaven, but also about the fall of grace with Adam and Eve's time. So the whole thing of like the beginning days, the fall of the angels, things like that, like pretty much pre-humanity, pretty much. So in the story, Mammon's craving is told as this: for even in heaven, his looks and thoughts were always downward bent, admiring more the riches of heaven's pavement, trodden gold, than aught divine or holy else enjoyed in vision beatific. By him, first men also, and by his suggestion taught, ransacked the center, and with impious hands rifled the bowels of their mother earth for treasures better hid. Soon had his crew opened into the hill a spacious wound, and digged out ribs of gold. So he's kind of all about the whole, like I would say greed. Greed's a very good thing, like a good word to kind of like pair with him, where it's like instead of like looking into the heavens and like realizing, where they were, instead he, looks at like what it was made of, and he wants that instead of like, being in the presence of divine purity. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well. The seventh demonic prince is Belphegor. This is another odd demon. Known as the demon of discoveries and of ingenious inventions, Belphegor is said to appear as a young girl and to give wealth. He was worshipped by the Moabites as Baalphegor on Mount Phegor. Some rabbis claim that he must be worshipped on a toilet, with offerings being the residue of one's digestion. He's a toilet god. This has led some to conclude that Belphegor is the god Pet, or in parentheses, fart, or Crepitus, while others believe that he is Priapus, who in the Greek mythology is actually a god of fertility, livestock, and gardens. It has been told that human victims are to be offered to him, and that his priests partake of the flesh. Other researchers wrote that he also always has an open mouth, attributing it to the name Phegor, which means crevice or split, and refers to when he was worshipped in caves and people threw him offerings through an air hole. So, Belphegor is a very nasty, disgusting demon. Like, people literally, from what it says, is like his, the whole thing for him is that his followers are cannibals who offer him their own feces as an offering. So I'm like, that's a weird demon. Another weird one. So the next demon is called Belial. Next to Lucifer, Belial is probably the worst next demon. It's rumored that he was created immediately after Lucifer and was among the first of the fallen angels that were cast away from Archangel Michael. He is also considered the chief of all the demons. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, it claims, "But for corruption thou hast made Belial, an angel of hostility. All his dominions are in darkness, and his purpose is to bring about wickedness and guilt. All the spirits that are associated with him are but angels of destruction." So, in short, Belial is all about darkness and opposition of God and all his doings. And that's pretty scary. So, there's also a thing called the three nets of Belial, which include fornication, wealth, and pollution of sanctuaries. So, it's very much the opposite of pretty much the whole thing of like angels and God and all of his doings. It's like the complete opposite. It's kind of like the whole thing of like black masses, where it's like they take a mass from like, Catholic faith and they pretty much corrupt it. They do the complete opposite, and it's terrible. But like I mentioned earlier, Belial is like the next darker step after Lucifer because of Belial's quick opposition against God and as a close follower of Lucifer. And of course, this leads us to the last one and the most infamous of all the princes of hell, Lucifer. So there's so much about Lucifer that I could probably cover an entire episode about him. But I won't, because I'll just pretty much briefly let you guys know what he's all about. So, the name Lucifer actually means light bearer, which makes sense because, what I said before in the angel episode is that there's rumors that he was once a seraphim before the fall from heaven with his, knowledge and whatnot. However, the name of light bearer or Lucifer isn't actually used in the New Testament, as Jesus is the bearer of light, of the true light, I should say. Another name of this is the son of the morning. So back in Isaiah, and Isaiah is like a really good source to go back to on a lot of like, I suppose, angelic and demonic things, of paranormal things. It's interesting. Isaiah has a lot of good verses. And there's a brief explanation of Lucifer's fall from heaven, including his name of the son of the morning. So, and it kind of goes like this. "How art thou fallen from heaven, O day star, son of the morning, Hallel ben Shahar? How art thou cast down to the ground, that didst cast lots over the nations? And thou said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven above the stars of God. Will I exalt my throne, and I will sit upon the mount of meeting in the uttermost parts of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to the netherworld, to the uttermost parts of the pit." So not only does Lucifer have this like great charisma and like pretty much an impressively grand amount of knowledge from being, seraphims and stuff like that, he also has like this gift of luring others to his sin. Obviously, the biggest example is the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Although the serpent is regularly named as Satan for the most part, it's kind of like pretty much the same entity. I think that Lucifer was his original name, when he was in heaven, with him being light bearer and things like that. But after the fall from heaven, Satan was his newly fashioned name. Satan then is also known as the great deceiver and the father of lies, pulling so many of us to do evil things in what Satan truly desires, so that when the second coming and the rapture occurs and the final battle commences, he'll have so many souls to throw out before being utterly defeated. And that's kind of the whole thing with Lucifer. One of the extra powerful demons that I actually kind of came across was called Paimon. He is considered the most loyal to Lucifer and governs over 200 leagues of demons, half of them from the angelic order and half of them from the order of powers. And like the order of powers comes from that sect of angels, that choir of angels. There were some repetitions that Paimon also has a great roaring voice, but it is also incomprehensible to whoever summons him. The main point of Paimon is for him to know more about the earth so that he can either report to Lucifer or to spread demons throughout it. At least that's kind of like the whole gist of it. So yeah, the whole thing of like, are these 9 princes of hell a real thing? Like a terrible threat to kind of imagine? I suppose it's kind of like up to you to personally believe it in or not, like I always say. Many do believe they exist and are the reasons for the sins of people. There are also many other demons to be listed as well, which will be actually in a part 2 of demons, because there is just a whole long list of demons that I thought were wacky, wild, and terrible. So, like, I'll be doing another episode on that. So, yeah. So these are, the next one are the lesser demons, listed in the Ars Goetia, and others not so much. So with that being said, do demons and angels exist? Is there an internal battle between them in every day that we live and breathe? I don't think we'll really truly know about it until we pass on into the next life. So whether that's the afterlife or the in-between or whatever you believe. So that's kind of the 9 princes of hell. Some very odd and some very scary. So do you have any comments on it?
I can't even believe about the bathroom one.
Yeah, I know.
What's his name again?
Oh man, I forgot it already. Yeah, the toilet demon.
Yes. How
it was
that
wild when I came across it. I'm like, is that really a thing? Oh, Belphegor. There you go.
Belphegor.
It even sounds like a nasty name. Belphegor. Belphegor.
Blech.
Blech. Blech. It's just wild. And I was gonna actually include Behemoth in this, but I don't think he's a prince of hell. I think there are some who include Behemoth in the Princes of Hell, but I'll be covering him in the next episode. But yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts besides Belphegor?
I can't say I liked it, but
yeah. Yeah.
What I found interesting was the Astaroth, the riding demon, the riding dragon demon.
Oh yeah.
That one was everywhere. Like this demon is everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some of these demons are like really wild and random, but maybe that's kind of the whole thing of like demons is being chaotic and random.
I mean,
to throw people off.
Yeah, I mean this one had like strong odor, like stinky.
Well, that's the Belphegor. Yeah,
and like, and he's quote unquote ugly demon. Yeah, like angel looking. They said.
An ugly angel riding a demon or riding a dragon. It's crazy.
And if it's an emergency and you need to summon him, sorry, you have to wait till Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dudes.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just find it so crazy how that's a thing. Like that's...
Yeah, I know.
An actual demon.
Yeah.
Cool name, but
that's what I came across, and I don't know. Is it real? Is it not? Is it just a hoax? Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
So that's kind of what I got from the Princes of Hell. Obviously, next episode will be about the minor demons, pretty much, what people may have written about, experienced, things like that. Who knows? But yeah. And then after the whole demons and angels thing, I'll be getting into more of the expansive roots of the show. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first kind of like launch or jump into the paranormal and what the entities are, what they all mean. Obviously, these are just angels and demons. If you guys go back to, man, was it the first or second official episode where I list off a bunch of paranormal...
First.
Yeah, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, there's angels, demons, but there's also, ghosts and wraiths and things like that. And, there's pretty much a long list of things that might be out there, might be not. So, that's how expansive this show is kind of going to be about. So... I think, with everything out of the way and being said, always be sure to stay spooky. And we'll be seeing you guys in the next episode. See you later.